It's okay. I don't want to break it to you, but we can still hear you despite you. Yeah.
Cut.
It's out there. It's out there. Well, hello, I'm Russ Milheim from The Direct. Thank you for talking to me about The Strangers Chapter 2. It's exciting to be here.
I'm very excited to be here as well.
Now, my first question, I'm going to start off with a fun one, sort of. It's The Strangers, right? They're all terrifying, and Maya has every reason to hate every single one of them. Is there one she hates the most, though?
Yeah, Scarecrow.
Okay.
Because he fucks with her the most. I mean, like, even in movie 1, he wipes her tear off her face. He's playing games with her.
Cool.
I think if that man wanted to kill her in the first 5 seconds he saw her, he could have. But it's like playing with your food. So I think she hates him for that.
Now, I've been talking with them about they've been very, very open about the reworking and just kind of adjusting Chapter 2 based on the reaction and just getting the perfect movie that you guys really want to put out there. Can you talk more about that process and how things changed and how you were able to enhance the narrative you were telling?
Yeah, I think it's just a unique experience for me as a producer on the films as well, and I've really learned that the film is made in 3 places. It's made when it's been written, it's made when you're on set, but it's really made when you're editing. You can make an entirely new film in editing, and we had the beauty and the luxury of having a studio that believes in us to give us money to go back and enhance movie 2 and enhance movie 3 post-editing, which is so rare, and I think there's a lot of things that we were able to uncover from the first movie coming out that Renny always speaks about that we didn't know people would cling on to so much, and also things that people didn't really care for. And so I think being able to adjust accordingly while also still remaining with artistic integrity, we're not by any means backing down from things that we cared about, is a really, really cool balance to find, and also a luxury that I don't think a lot of productions get.
Yeah. What is a vague tease you can offer about Chapter 3 that you haven't spoken out loud before?
There is a lot of weird stuff that happens, and it's not what you'd expect. And there's, oh God, I'm every word I choose is going to give it away. There is a lot of, I can't say any of those words. I'm sorry. I
had
can't
to try. I had to try.
You're sneaky, though, and I like that about you. I respect that.
Last question for you. Off topic, but I'm just curious. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is all the rage. Are there any characters that you would love to play?
Oh, play?
Yeah.
Jean Grey.
Okay.
Obviously. Hello.
Okay. What about DCU?
I'm at Comic-Con, and I don't know the difference.
That's okay. I don't want to break it to you, but we can still hear you despite you covering up. Yeah.
Cut.
It's out there. It's out there.
Yeah. So the reason I hid earlier is I've not seen many Marvel films. Many is an operative term for 0. But I've been seeing some fan casts for Jean Grey, and I've done my research, and that seems like it'd be really fun.
There you go. I mean, I'd like to see it, but thank you so much for talking to me. Thank you.
All of the nerds are gonna kill me.
My first question is, I wanted to address the hospital setting, because even before Chapter 2 came out, a lot of people were very quick to be like, okay, so we're going to do a Halloween 2 kind of situation. So I'm wondering, are those kind of assumptions or thought processes anywhere close to what Chapter 2 is going to offer audiences, or should people not expect that at all?
I think hopefully in a good way for those people who liked that about Halloween 2, that would offer them something that they will enjoy. But I honestly have to say that though I saw Halloween 2, of course, I did not remember that it was set in a hospital so much, and it came to me as total surprise when people started comparing these scenes to that. And when they saw the trailer, they started mentioning that. I was like, I didn't even think about that. So for me, it's just the hospital setting is very interesting and exciting place. It's a scary place as it is, and then when you put a vulnerable person in that situation, in that environment, and then you turn the lights off, it gets really scary. So I would say that I definitely hope that we've done an original job in terms of what we experience in the hospital and what kind of scenes we have there. And it is just a small part of the movie. The movie expands so much from the whole home invasion genre into more like a town invasion that it just gets quite epic.
From the beginning of this trilogy, you guys teased that we are going to get the answer to who is Tamara. Is that something you think we're going to get in chapter 2, or is that a wider, that's the end of the trilogy kind of explanation? I don't know if you can answer this, but I wanted to ask anyway.
Just to be honest, that's an obvious question, and I'm shocked that I'm not prepared for that, because we haven't had this discussion. It's like, how do we answer this question? But I would say that within the 3 movies, you will definitely know who it is.
That's it. You did briefly touch upon this. You mentioned like teases for chapter 3. What other vague teases that you haven't said that you can offer about where this final movie goes?
Or where the final third movie goes? Oh, it goes into a very, very dark place, and it's an incredible privilege for a director to be able to tell this kind of a full story. Usually, sequels are done a few years apart, and it's just like taking those same characters but putting them in completely a different situation. And the incredible opportunity here is to explore our main character for 4.5 hours and see her mental situation completely change from being a vulnerable girl in the first movie who was horrified by the act of a home invasion, and then what she turns into by the end of movie 3. And we've tried to make it as raw and realistic as possible instead of, like a movie type of a character. So these movies will gradually get more physical and mentally more disturbing as we go.
Chapter 3, you think it's probably next year? Would you think not this year? Definitely not?
No, it won't be this year. We are finishing it up right now, so it'll be by the time chapter 2 comes out, chapter 3 will be completely finished. But there's no time before Christmas and everything. But I would say that early next year is what it's looking like.
Last question for you. We were just talking about kind of reworking chapter 2, the process that you guys went through after the first one released, and just reworking and toning and getting chapter 2 exactly how you guys wanted. Can you talk a little bit about that process and adjusting based on the first one?
Yeah, well, luckily the first movie was successful, so the studio is very open to it when we said, like, we've listened to the audience, we've seen the feedback, we see where the audience is focusing and what they want to see and so on, and we felt like we owe it to the audience, because to me the whole trilogy is an homage to Brian Bertano's original movie, which is a great movie. We didn't want to do a straight remake. We wanted to expand on it, and we owe it to the original movie and the original fans and the new fans that we give them what they want. And for a director, it was an incredible opportunity that the studio was willing to give us more money, say, like, go do what you believe in that you should be doing. Obviously, you can't ever, please everybody, and that's not the goal either. But at the same time, when you talk about such a beloved franchise and characters, we felt that just in many ways, for example, by showing a little bit more of a backstory for the strangers and showing a little bit more what makes them tick, without trivializing it and saying, like, oh, their names are this and they live here and this is what they eat in the morning. That's not, it still has to be mysterious and it has to be random. But I'm quite convinced that the audience will enjoy seeing glimpses of their past.
My first question is, so Chapter 2 actually overtook the release date of Saw 11, which is a big horror film. And so that's a big hold to be like, all right, we're going to take over this and we're going to own it and we're going to blow everyone out of the water. What was that like? Is there any extra pressure there or expectations?
I think, being in the footsteps of Saw is a big expectation in the horror world. I would say yes. I mean, when we heard, we were thrilled, and it was a great honor that they had confidence in us enough to put us into that slot. So in that way, it was like a nice vote of confidence from the studio, like, good job, we like your Chapter 2 and we're willing to go with it. So in that way, it's good. It's a little nerve-wracking. I mean, we are in the big Halloween movie season. So, I mean, having done horror for most of my career, I know exactly what that time slot is.
Now, originally, these 3 movies were supposed to come out really close to one another, but, like 16 months later, now we're on Chapter 2. So what was the process there, and why was there a delay, and then how do we settle where we are now?
Well, I think chapter 1 was, to be honest, misunderstood a bit, right? Let's be honest. So because it was misunderstood, we read everything. Okay, and we were just finishing chapter 2 at that time, and sort of went back to the studio and said, "Well, chapter 1 did well financially, so could we have some more money to do some stuff? Because we think if we did this and we did that and we did it, which is what we originally wanted to do, but we didn't have very much money when we originally did it. So, long story short, we had basically finished chapter 2 at that time because this was after the release of chapter 1. We went and did an enhancement shoot, had to undo everything in chapter 2, put the enhancement footage in, and redo everything. By that I mean is then re-edit it, remix it, recolor correct it, add different effects to it, and whatever. So that slowed us down and ended up pushing us into this year. And then we were like, we would be barely ready for the same slot that we had last year, and then Lionsgate said, well, actually, we'd like to put you here. And so that's why it took longer. The good news is the movie's like a relentless ride, so it's actually very intense in a good way. But the other good news is at the time it comes out, literally a month later we'll finish chapter 3, right? Because we also did enhancement shoots for that. And I just want to say, in adversity comes good things. So we heard a lot of the audience comments on chapter 1, and that's what inspired us to go back to the studio and ask to actually put in all this extra work and go do chapter 2 that way and enhance it. So that's what it was.
I think it's awesome to hear you being candid about some of that stuff. Is there anything you can elaborate on, what was some of those reactions that you're like, okay, I think we can and should do something about this? I know you had to be a little vague given the plot and all that.
It's okay. I mean, as a general comment, look, I mean, I don't usually do this, but I read everything because I wanted to. And this trilogy is super important to us. And I'll just say this. We made a decision for a very cognizant reason, which the audience can't understand until they watch chapter 2 and 3. Because we said from moment 1, it's one giant movie. It's one storyline. So in judging chapter 1, you're judging the first act of a movie. But you can't really judge a full movie on the first act of a movie. And that's exactly what happened. Fair enough, there's other decisions we could have maybe made better or not made better. But the decision was basically that we were going to honor the original Strangers and as a starting point for the story we were trying to tell, which was what happens if she survives. Just pretend it's original Strangers, it's Liv Tyler, what happens if Liv survives the next day. But now it's in a small town, now it's in a remote community in the mountains, now the strangers are still around you. Okay, so you can't just hop in the car and drive away, let's just say, and you've been stabbed, right? So there's all of that. So, what I think happened, though, is, look, the original Strangers, when it came out, I loved it as well. It was fresh. It was new. We hadn't really seen it done like that before. Agree? Yeah. Okay. We told basically the same story in our chapter 1 on purpose, right? Judgment call, right? And, what happened was, the audience went to see it, and they're like, what the hell is this? This is nothing new, and in fact, it's not even near as good because they already loved the other movie. It's like you're only a virgin once, so to speak, right? So they knew all the tricks that were coming, even if there were different stuff, and there was whatever else, that was it. The new audience we gave this to actually loved the movie, but they hadn't seen the original movie. And so that's kind of why we made the decision. Anyway, look, we heard them, right? And we made sure that, we would honor it, the franchise, in movie 2 and movie 3, right? And, I like our movie 1, but I'm not going to talk against my own movie because I don't feel that way at all. But I listen to the fans because we make it for the fans. And I heard, and everybody heard, what they said. And we actually, I hope they give us some credit for this, did something about it. So, which is awesome. All I say to you is this. You want to hate on Strangers trilogy at the end of watching the 3, go right ahead. That's your prerogative, right? But judge it once you've seen it. Yeah. Don't judge it before you have, because so many of the things I read about where we're going, I know exactly where this is, they are not right. In fact, I have not seen it. I literally read everything. One person that's gotten it right yet. So I will say that. So that is my challenge back. You just haven't figured it out.
People have not figured out chapter 3 yet.
No, chapter 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sir, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing chapter 2.
Direct.
Yeah.